This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. Her name is King 9, B-25 medium bomber, 12th Air Force. On a hot, still morning, she took off from Tunisia to bomb the southern tip of Italy. An errant piece of flak tore a hole in a wing tank, and like a wounded bird, this is where she landed. Not to return on this day or any other day.
Klein! Sergeant Klein! You incredibly stupid jerk, you! You dropped your canteen! You stupid Bronx cowboy, you! You're in the desert now, you idiot! You're gonna need water!
You had no way of knowing that plane wasn't going to come back. Now you realize it more as time goes by, and you feel better for it. It's out in the open now. You don't have to hide it in a pit deep inside of you. That's what's been hurting you all these years.
Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, gentle and infinitely patient people whose lives have been a hope chest with a rusty lock and a lost set of keys. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, standing on the outskirts and about to enter the Twilight Zone.
Three wishes. 3 wishes. Anything we want. Well, think, what do we want? A new shop, an expensive shop on Fifth Avenue. We could have that just for the asking. Or money, Edna. Money. $100,000. $200,000. $1 million. Edna, we wouldn't have to grub anymore. We wouldn't have to sit here and waste our lives away.
Rather than go into any lengthy, generic explanation of my existence, suffice it to say that I am a genie. I can offer you 4 wishes with a guaranteed performance. Well, Mr. Castle, Mrs. Castle, what have you in mind?
What you're about to watch in this room is a strange mortal combat between a man and himself. For in just a moment, Mr. Jackie Rhodes, whose life has been given over to fighting adversaries, will find his most formidable opponent in a cheap hotel room that is in reality the outskirts of the Twilight Zone.
Will you listen to me, George? Will you listen to me? Now, look, I'm not trying to cop out, George. I am not trying to cop out. I just like to know what you have in mind, that's all. You know I got tendency toward nerves, George. And, well, you could sit in the hotel room only so long, and it was such a hot night outside, George.
You look like a man trying to catch a subway at 5 o'clock. You always look like somebody's squeezing you through a door. What do you do to sleep at night, Jackie? Hide in the locked closet?
Mr. Bartlett Finchley is a malcontent, born either too late or too early in the century, and who in just a moment will enter a realm where muscles and the will to fight back are not limited to human beings. Next stop for Mr. Bartlett Finchley, the Twilight Zone.
I'll answer that burning question after you tell me what's wrong with that miracle of modern science, and also exactly how much this current larceny is going to cost me.
Last time I was over here, you'd kick your foot through the screen, remember?
Ancient folks saying, you can catch the devil, but you can't hold him long. Ask Brother Jerome. Ask David Ellington. They know, and they'll go on knowing to the end of their days and beyond in the Twilight Zone.
My name's Ellington. I'm on a walking trip. We got lost in the storm.
Excuse me.
I saw light here.
Mr. Ellington, I did not know that you were well enough to walk. Come with me, please. This way.
In a moment, we'll go back into this room. And also in a moment, we'll look under those bandages. Keeping in mind, of course, that we're not to be surprised by what we see. Because this isn't just a hospital. And this patient 307 is not just a woman. This happens to be the Twilight Zone.
Mr. Smith.
Yes?
Why do we have to look like this? You know, sometimes I think I've lived my whole life inside of a dark cave. The walls are gauze, and the wind that blows in through the mouth of the cave smells of ether and disinfectant.
The time is now. The place is a little diner in Ridgeview, Ohio. And what this young couple doesn't realize is that this town happens to lie on the outskirts of the Twilight Zone.
Don?
What?
Oh, look at me. Well, you really don't think that gizmo can foretell the future, do you?
I've got some very good chicken fried steak out there.
No, thank you.
No?
No.
We're about to discover that sometimes the product of man's talent and genius can walk amongst us untouched by the normal ravages of time. These are Dr. Loren's robots, built to functional as well as artistic perfection.
You said yourself, Jaina, that I designed and built to perfection, and I made these people quite indestructible.
It's like living with ghosts.
Oh, no, my dear, not ghosts. Ghosts are those who have died after living. But these people had no life until I gave it to them.
You're looking at that album again. Seems like that's all you do lately is look at that album.
When was that picture taken?
Oh, it's a lovely picture of you, Nelda.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pleased to present for your consideration Mr. Booth Templeton, serious and successful star of over 30 Broadway plays. Soon his years and his troubles will descend on him in an avalanche. In order not to be crushed, Mr. Booth Templeton will escape from his theater and his world and make his debut on another stage in another world that we call the Twilight Zone.
I am definitely in. And it is definitely Mr. Templeton. Especially to one so young as you. I never allow anyone not directly connected with the production to attend my rehearsals. I insist upon that.
When I call rehearsal for 12 o'clock, Templeton, I meant 12 o'clock for everyone, young and old. Everyone to be in his place and ready to work at 12 o'clock sharp. Are you ready to work with us, Templeton?
This camera, this one's unusual, because in just a moment we'll watch it inject itself into the destinies of three people. It happens to be a fact that the pictures that it takes can only be developed in the Twilight Zone.
Big deal. Whole hall's worth maybe $5.80. A good fence will give us $1. You and your curio shops.
So, what's to see?
Now look at the picture.
So there I am standing by the window wearing a fur coat. What am I doing wearing a fur coat? I wasn't wearing a fur coat when you took that picture. I don't even own a fur coat.
In just a moment, Mr. Henry Corwin, Ersatz Santa Claus, will enter a strange kind of North Pole, which is one part the wondrous spirit of Christmas and one part the magic that can only be found in the Twilight Zone.
You know another reason why I drink, Mr. Dundee? So that when I walk down the tenements, I can really think it's the North Pole and the children are elves and that I'm really Santa Claus, bringing them a bag of wondrous gifts for all of them.
And get that crummy red suit back to wherever you rented it from before you really tie one on and destroy it for good and all. You drunk!
There was a village built of crumbling clay and rotting wood. This village had a virus shared by its people. It was the germ of squalor, of hopelessness, of a loss of faith.
Please, my son did not mean to do it. He's a lover of children, as you all are. He's a lover of children.
You tell your papa to bring 100 pesos to my room in 1 hour, and I will sell him the magic dust that makes people love and forgive.
4 intelligent men talking about an improbable thing like going back in time. A friendly debate revolving around a simple issue. Could a human being change what has happened before? Interesting and theoretical because whoever heard of a man going back in time? Before tonight, that is. Because this is the Twilight Zone.
You say you want us to remand him in your custody?
Precisely.
All right, sir, if that's the way you'd like it. Have Corrigan brought back in here. This gentleman's going to look out for him. That's real decent of you, sir. Real decent of you.
I'm desperately sorry, Mr. Corrigan. That was very clumsy of me.
I think I shall survive, William. I really do. In just a few moments, they'll give Harvey Honeycutt something that he's never experienced before. Through the good offices of a little magic, they will unload on Mr. Honeycutt the absolute necessity to tell the truth. Exactly where they come from is conjectural. But as to where they're heading for, this we know. Because all of them and you are on the threshold of the Twilight Zone.
That old cleat that sold me that Model A, a real nutsy. Give me a song and dance about a haunted car. You get that? Haunted car. And I was stupid enough to stand there and listen to him.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Honeycutt, there is one other small item I ought to mention to you about the car.
Do.
It's haunted, without a doubt. The car is quite haunted.
This is the woman who lives in the house. A woman who's been alone for many years. A strong, simple woman whose only problem up until this moment has been that of acquiring enough food to eat. A woman about to face terror, which is, even now, coming at her from the Twilight Zone.
Central Control. Come in, Central Control. Do you read me? Gresham is dead. Repeat, Gresham is dead. The ship's destroyed. Incredible race of giants here. Race of giants.
Mr. Hector B. Poole, resident of the Twilight Zone. Flip a coin and keep flipping it. What are the odds? Half the time it'll come up heads, half the time tails. But in one freakish chance in a million, it'll land on its edge.
Well, if someone's going to rob the bank this afternoon, you should do something about it.
But what if I'm wrong, Miss Turner?
You have a responsibility to the bank, to the stockholders and depositors.
What is this, Poole? I'm worried about you. I've always considered you one of my best men. Why, Poole? Tell me why. Now, we lost the Ajax cement account this morning because of your nonsense. Something wrong at home? Something bothering you, Poole? Come on, tell me.
The cure to some nightmares is not to be found in known medical journals. You look for it under potions for bad dreams, to be found in the Twilight Zone.
You know how I feel about hospitals, kitten. They kind of depress me.
You ought to try it in here lying on your back for a couple of weeks, Barney. Pretty soon you feel like you're lying on a glass slide, and all those creeps are looking at you through a microscope. And the only time the sun shines is when it's visiting hours.
Well, Miss Powell, you're looking as beautiful as ever. You make an old doctor wish he were a young intern.
A global jet airliner, en route from London to New York on an uneventful afternoon in the year 1961. But now reported overdue and missing, and by now searched for on land, sea, and air by anguished human beings, fearful of what they'll find.
Magellan, my needle just reversed past Gander VOR. How could we get past? Give me a fast position check.
Skipper, we are past Gander. We must be doing 3,000 knots.
Try to raise Harmon control. If you can't raise them, try Moncton or Boston. At this speed, you might as well try to get Idlewild.
Part of this is scientific, Skipper. Part of it's Kentucky windage. Tried 262. That's as close as I can get.
Mr. Dingle has an appeal to extraterrestrial note-takers as well as to frustrated and insolvent bet losers. Offhand, I'd say that he was in for a great deal of extremely odd periods, simply because there are so many inhabited planets who send down observers, and also because, of course, Mr. Dingle lives his life with one foot in his mouth and the other in the Twilight Zone.
Now, you want to know my advice for what you should do for the rest of your life? Just don't talk. Just nod. Somebody asks you who you like in the third, you just smile.
This man don't know the first thing about baseball.
Tell him, man.
Oh, tell him. You tell me. Would I ever do anything wrong about that when it comes to a ball game? All I can say is if anybody can tell me that the Philadelphia Phillies deserve winning the pennant that year, they're out of their green grass mind.
In its days, circa 1935, its type was one of the most elegant consoles on the market. Now, with its fabric-covered speakers, its peculiar yellow dial, its serrated knobs, it looks quaint and a little strange. Mr. Ed Lindsay is going to find out how strange very soon, when he tunes into the Twilight Zone.
Mr. Bragg, who watches television until his brain turns into oatmeal and his eyes roll down his face into his beard. Mr. Bragg, the modern man, doubts it.
Now, please, Mr. Bragg, I think what Mr. Lindsay means, or what he's trying to say, is that a local radio station was broadcasting recordings of some of the old programs.
Portrait of a man who thinks and thereby gets things done. Mr. Jimbo Cobb might be called a prime mover, a talent which has to be seen to be believed. In just a moment, he'll show his friends and you how he keeps both feet on the ground and his head in the Twilight Zone.
We've been together a long time, you and me. And I've been real good to you, haven't I? I fed you, I took care of you, gave you everything you wanted, right? Okay. Well, I think it's about time you started paying off.
I can't exactly explain it, Ace, but you see, I guess you might say it's a power I got. I can move things around just by thinking.
In a moment, a child will try to cross that bridge which separates light and shadow. And of course, he must take the only known route, that indistinct highway, through the region we call the Twilight Zone.
You said you loved Billy. At his birthday, you picked him up and you hugged him. And you said he gave you life again. If you really love Billy, give him back. Give him back, Mom.
A telephone! For us, Billy. For you and me.
So you can always talk to Grandma, even when she's not here. Anytime.
This man's name is Christian Horn. He has a dying 8-year-old son and a heartsick wife. And he's the only one remaining who has even a fragment of the dream left. Mr. Chris Horn, who's going over the top of a rim to look for water and sustenance. And in a moment, we'll move into the Twilight Zone.
All I'm giving you is the benefit of some observation. He's suffering a delusion of some kind, but it's a delusion of the purest form. The way he describes those wagons, his wife, the other people, his son.
See, we lived over in Phoenix. You see, Mary Lou's folks are from there. And first married, I worked for her old man. And then we bought this place here and...
Introducing 4 experts in the questionable art of crime. In just a moment, these 4 men will utilize the services of a truck placed in cosplay, loaded with a hot heist, cooled off by a century of sleep, and then take a drive into the Twilight Zone.
Didn't work. We don't have any beards. And our nails didn't grow. Well, Mr. Farwell, with a big brain and all the answers, why didn't it work?
All the body functions stopped. There wouldn't be any growth of beard or nails or anything else. I tell you, it worked.
The note that this man is carrying across a clubroom is in the form of a proposed wager. In just a moment, we'll see the terms of the wager and what young Mr. Tennyson does about it. And in the process, we'll witness all parties spin a wheel of chance in a very bizarre casino called the Twilight Zone.
I propose a wager to Mr. Tennyson here. The wagers take the following form. I will bet him $500,000 that he cannot remain silent for 1 year.
Excuse me, Mr. Tennyson. A note for you from Colonel Taylor.
Yeah, well, just put it down somewhere, Franklin.
Excuse me, Mr. Tennyson. His instructions are that you read it immediately.
Like every other criminal caught in the wheels of justice, he's scared, right down to the marrow of his bones. But it isn't prison that scares him, or even death itself. It's something else that holds Adam Grant in the hot, sweaty grip of fear. Something found only in the Twilight Zone.
This isn't real. Make them understand they're only a dream I'm having. You fools, you kill me, you'll die. You believe me. Make him believe me.
Dear friends, when I die, I don't want to see any full bottles around.
That's not funny.
It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be a comment on the short, unhappy life of Paul Carson.
A brief, if frenetic, introduction to Mr. Archibald Beechcroft, a child of the 20th century, a product of the population explosion, and one of the inheritors of the legacy of progress.
There frankly isn't a breed or a species of human being that I can stomach.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I think of it before? People who I can stand. People like myself.
You'll forgive a personal observation, Beechcroft. You're not looking too well. You know, keeping yourself fit is not only a personal obligation, Beechcroft. In a larger sense, it's part of your responsibility to your job and to the firm that employs you.
Wintry February night, the present. Order of events, a phone call from a frightened woman, notating the arrival of an unidentified flying object.
You got identification, miss?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, I don't. I left my wallet. I left it in my suitcase. It was shipped on ahead.
What's your name, miss?
Ethel McConnell. I'm a professional dancer.
That's a good one. First he wants snowshoes, then he wants a lawyer.
I don't remember seeing you on the bus.
It's quite funny, because I don't remember seeing you neither. Makes one of us a liar, don't it?
You walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be.
An odd one, and with very bizarre requests.